Welcome to Worship at Home from the Northampton Methodist Circuit. My name is Jenny Brooks and I'm a local preacher in the circuit. The words I'm using for this reflection come from the connectional material for the fourth week of Lent. The theme we've been given is letting go of appearances and embrace what's inside. We're also given an object to symbolise this theme, and this week's object is a clipboard. Clipboards can be very useful. I'm using one at the moment to hold up the piece of paper that reminds me what to say. But they can also be a symbol of checklists and assumptions about other people. We need to acknowledge the judgments we carry that shape our assumptions about others. And with these symbols and these thoughts, we remind ourselves that God sees the heart, the whole person, and sees us with love, whoever we are and whatever we have done. This week's lectionary readings invite us to reflect on how we perceive others and how easily we can misjudge what God is doing based on outward appearances. The mindset shift at the heart of these texts is simple but profound. We need to move from judging people by appearances to recognising dignity. The readings are from the first book of Samuel, chapter 16, verses 1 to 13, and then John's Gospel, chapter 9, verses 1 to 41. In John 9, the disciples begin with a question that reflects a common assumption both at that time and in modern times. Who sinned, this man or his parents? The man's blindness is seen as a sign of moral failure. Meanwhile, the Pharisees appear to be righteous. But Jesus disrupts this framework. He sees the man not as a sinner to be blamed, but as someone through whom God's love will be revealed. As the story unfolds, the man grows in spiritual awareness and courage, while the Pharisees resist the truth. The one who was dismissed becomes a witness to grace. The ones who were revered are revealed to be spiritually closed. And in the Old Testament reading in Samuel, chapter 16, the prophet Samuel was sent to anoint a new king. He's drawn to Eliab, who looks the part. He's tall, strong, kingly. But God intervenes. Do not look at his appearance or on the height of his stature, for the Lord does not see as mortals see. They look on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. David is the youngest and therefore the least likely to be chosen. But the text notes that David has beautiful eyes, a detail that might hint at his capacity to perceive, to be sensitive to God's call. But his outward beauty is not the reason for his selection, but perhaps a poetic echo of his inner attentiveness. Together, these readings challenge us to reconsider how we see others. Who do we overlook because they don't fit into our expectations? Who do we elevate because they appear successful, holy, or powerful? Lent is a season of reorientation, a time to turn and think about what God is helping us to see with compassion, to recognise the dignity in every person and to be sensitive to the presence of God in unexpected places. I wonder where we might be tempted to judge others by their outward appearance, or can we challenge assumptions about who is worthy, beautiful, acceptable, And perhaps we could reflect on, have we been misunderstood, dismissed, overlooked? Why do we think that was? And what damage has it done to us? But every person carries the image of God within them. And we're invited to look beyond appearances and assumptions, to recognise the dignity in others and in ourselves. God sees your heart and loves you through and through. Amen.